Hi everyone! In today's video, I want to show you how I did this pink design. What we have to do before we apply acrylic is prep all the nails. And since I'm using a plastic hand, this step is going to look a little bit different for me because there's certain products and certain steps that I cannot do. But what I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be filing all the nails. I'm gonna go all around the nail up to the cuticle to make sure that everything is well filed and the acrylic can hold on the nail and be strong. Now that the first step is done, we can start getting the form ready. And this step is very important because if we don't do it correctly, the nail can end up being a little bit crooked or it will not be the way it's supposed to. But what I'm doing right now is that I'm cutting the form, so these cuts can serve me as a guide. And since we're gonna be doing square nails, I made sure that the form was completely straight because otherwise it can either go downwards or upwards, and that's not what we want. And now that everything is ready, we can start building up the nail. And what I did is that I applied the first bead between the natural nail and the form. And I used this first bead to create the square shape that I want. Also, I used the lines of the form to guide me, so it can be as straight as possible. And then I applied the second bead. And what I did is that I connected with the first one and then I pushed it upwards until it gets near the cuticle, so all the nail can be covered. And now that the nail is dried enough, we can start applying pressure on the sides. And what that's gonna do is that it's gonna make the nail be a lot more round and have more so of a C shape. And that's gonna make it look more natural. Remember that when we're doing square nails, we don't want to add too much pressure on the form because if the form closes off too much, it can end up looking more so like a coffin nail. And in this case, we don't want it to be like that. If you guys are starting out with acrylic and you're not very sure how to do it or what are the right steps, I actually have a video on it that I teach you step by step and I explain you what you have to do and what you have to use. So if you guys are interested and you want to learn more about it, I'm gonna leave the video down on the description box. Remember that when we're applying pressure on the sides, we have to make sure that the nail is dried enough, because if it's still too wet, the nail can end up breaking, and if it's too dry, then adding pressure on the sides is gonna do nothing. And that's how we're gonna be doing all the nails. The first step is applying the first bead, and we're gonna be building up the shape of the nail. In this case is square. So I'm using the lines of the form to guide me, and I'm gonna make sure that the sides are as straight as possible. And then the second bead, I'm gonna apply it on top of the nail, and I'm gonna connect it with the first one and cover everything. I'm gonna go up to the cuticle. And to finish up the nail, we're gonna apply pressure on the sides so it can have more of a C type of shape. When you guys are using forms, I recommend you to first measure how wide the nail actually is and then to do cuts on the sides to guide you. I know that that can be a little bit annoying, but it really helps in the end. Something that I didn't mention is that since acrylic dries on the nail, it can also dry on the brush, and that can end up ruining the brush. So what I do is that I have a paper on the side and I keep cleaning this acrylic brush as often as possible so it can be clean. And to finish doing these acrylic nails, what I'm gonna do is apply pressure on the sides. so it can have more of a C type of shape. And this is how the acrylic nails look like. They are not perfect, but that's why we're gonna file them. When I file nails, the first thing I do is that I file all the sides. And the reason why is because first I want to perfect the shape of the nail. In this case, it's going to be square. So I'm going to make sure that all the sides are as straight as possible. And to do that, we're going to put the file completely straight. We're not really going to move it around because that's going to make the shape of the nail end up being a little bit more round. And this is how the nails look like after we file all the sides. Like you guys can tell, they're a lot more square and they're getting closer to being ready to add some color. After filing the sides, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna file all the surface to make sure that there's no bumps left and it's ready to apply some color. The way I do that is that I go from the left side up to the cuticle, down to the right side, and then I file the surface like I'm just doing right now. And I'm gonna do that to all the nails. And this is how the nails look like after we file them. Now we're ready to do the pink design. Before we start applying any color or we start doing the design, what we have to do is get a brush and make sure that all the dust that is left after we file the nails is off. Now that they are completely cleaned and ready, I'm gonna start doing the design by applying this kind of very pale beige color. You guys can use whatever colors you want, but I do recommend you to use a lighter color because that's gonna make the pink stand out even more. To do this design, I'm gonna apply the color to all of the nails. If you guys like this pink design and you end up doing it, you can send me a picture to my Instagram, which is called Reina Nails. And if you guys want to see more tutorials, I make basically like a new tutorial each day on my TikTok, which is called Reina Nails. But I'm gonna leave all the information down on the description box. When you're painting nails, make sure that all of the sides are well covered and there's nothing left to add nail polish to. I recommend you to look on the sides because those are the places that we tend to forget. Otherwise, it can end up ruining the design, so that can be a little bit annoying, but I do recommend you to check. Also, something that I didn't mention is that I'm going over each nail twice because usually with these lighter colors, it can take a little bit more to make sure that everything is well covered. And these nail polishes have to be cured, which means that they need this special light to dry and crystallize. And my nail polishes take about 30 seconds to dry. You should check how much yours take. I think each brand is a little bit different. And this is how the base of this design looks like. Like you guys can tell, the first step is very simple. So now we're ready to add some pink on the nails. This is the nail polish that I'm gonna be using. I decided to grab this kind of like hot pink nail polish. If you guys don't like this type of pink, you can use maybe like pastel one or a lighter one, whatever you guys want to do. This design is going to be a little bit different that I've done because 3 of the 4 nails are going to have the same style, but the 4th one is going to be a little bit different. I know it's like a little bit hard to understand, but I'm gonna be explaining you through this video. The first thing that I've done is that I did this type of French nail, but it's more so like a triangle, if that makes any sense. I used this smaller nail art brush to make two straight lines that kind of make a triangle shape, and then I'm covering the rest of the nail with pink. I don't know if you guys are able to tell, but I'm going over the pink at least twice, just like I did with the first nail polish. And this pink nail polish also has to be cured, so I'm drying it for about 30 seconds each time that I'm going over it. And for this third nail, I'm also going to do the exact same steps. First, I'm doing these two straight lines that kind of make this triangle shape. And then I'm gonna cover the rest of the nail with some pink. And I'm also going over the pink at least twice so the color can be vibrant. And before I show you the last design, I'm gonna add some top coat on these three nails to make sure that they are well protected. And the top coat that I'm gonna be using is like a very shiny one. And to apply top coat is very easy. You just go over the nails like if you were using an average nail polish. And make sure that everything is well painted, that all of the sides up to the cuticle, because if parts of the nail are not well covered, they're not going to be that shiny, so it might look a little bit strange. And also I'm gonna dry this top coat for about 60 seconds this time, but make sure you check how much yours takes. And this is how this first design looks like. Now we can do the last one. And to do so, first I'm gonna show you the nail polish that I'm gonna be using, which is this one that is a little bit different because it's kind of like a top coat, but it has some sparkles on it. And I really like it because the sparkles are pink, and I think that it matches very well the rest of the nails. The way that I'm gonna be applying this nail polish is gonna be a little bit different. First, I'm gonna go from the cuticle and I'm gonna start painting the nail. I'm gonna go downwards, but I'm not gonna cover the entire nail. I'm gonna only cover until the middle, like I'm doing right now. I didn't mention it, but I'm applying this nail polish by going over it a few times so it can have the effect that I like. And also I cured this nail polish for about 60 seconds. And after I cured it, I'm gonna apply some top coat on top of all of the nail, but I'm gonna let it be wet. I'm not gonna cure it or dry it because I'm gonna be applying some sparkles on top. The reason why I'm not gonna cure this top coat is because it's gonna serve me as glue to apply these sparkles that I'm applying right now. What I did is that first I'm gonna be applying bigger sparkles in the middle of the nail, like I'm doing right now, and I'm gonna be doing this shape. And like you guys can tell, this top coat works very well as glue because the sparkles stay the way I want them to stay. And then I'm gonna be applying smaller sparkles that go from the design downwards on the nail, and I'm gonna apply 2 more on top. And to make sure that they stay on top, we're gonna cure it for about 1 minute or more. And this is how the final nails look like. What do you guys think about this design? Do you guys like it? I think that it looks really good, and I love pink, so I think this design is one of my favorites that I've done in this channel. Also, I think that this design is pretty simple. So if you guys are starting out or you don't feel too comfortable doing very advanced type of designs, I think that this design is gonna be perfect for you to start with, and it's gonna look really good during the spring. I hope you guys like this design. If you did, please subscribe to my channel because I'm gonna be doing a lot more nail tutorials, and also like my video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.